last episode, I said when we were talking about the whole other conversation, I said it's funny how people want tolerance, but they don't want to give tolerance, right? Y'all want empathy, but don't want to give it either. This is a case where this guy credibly can say, hey, I was too victimized by a more powerful person and put in an uncomfortable situation. And y'all can't even, for the sake of conversation, broach that for the sake of what exactly? Y'all do away with your own argument here, which is why the overall point is, that's why Cameron doesn't give a fuck, because y'all don't give a fuck. Right? We all sometimes don't give a fuck. So to stand here and pretend like we do because it's, oh my God, the cute little light-skinned girl that we believe was victimized, even though there's evidence to the contrary that she too was victimized by other people, but whatever, right? Y'all can't even give the brother a modicum of, oh, damn, you know what?
I
Nick, you're right,
agree.
man. That brother was put in a power position where he had to literally watch his back. We just cackled about it. But y'all want to sit here and get mad that Cameron is not cackling with some nigga who was talking about him having sex with old girl on his particular show. What the fuck are y'all talking about, man? The inconsistency that y'all be on is why I don't fuck with none of that shit y'all been talking about. Go ahead, Delvin.
No, so if Cameron had a woman, and this is to the ladies, if Cameron had a woman on his show and he asked, so, about the size of Diddy's manhood, would that be off the table? Would you be like, no, you can't ask about Diddy's manhood? That's out of bounds. There's a trial going on.
That's
and
nasty.
That's irrelevant. You see where I'm going? You see what I did there?
So
I
look,
think
I
unlike
understand.
y'all, we
Great
don't
point.
care about Diddy's dick. We not none of us have I've never met a woman who asked about Diddy's dick. Y'all said
Facts.
everybody wants to know what her pussy feels like. Who? Who is everybody? I've never heard anybody ask that question before Cameron asked that question. Y'all never thought about what her pussy feels like.
Jay thought
Y'all
about
not sexualizing this person.
Actually,
You said
I
you
had-
did?
not.
Okay, I
I really
stand
had.
Throw Jay
corrected.
under the
I
bus.
really
He
hadn't.
threw Jay
I really hadn't.
Jay,
He threw
he
me
was
under the bus.
fine.
And honestly, I hadn't. I've never heard her song. I never really looked at her. She just
Come on now.
No,
So
hold on.
Cameron
I
stands
used to love
alone in his
Cassie.
infatuation with
Has
the
some
woman who
hits.
just
Don't do
happens to
Cassie
be
like that.
victimized. He wouldn't ask him about that pussy before she came out as a rape victim. That would be
Don't do
different.
Cassie like that. She had hits, man.
She
You know
held
what I'm
2,
saying?
1.5.
I want to be your
I'm
That was it. She was
official
17.
girl.
Nobody
I
wants
want to
it.
be your official girl. No.
I'm
Oh,
interested
no.
in the Cassie that was having sex outside of Diddy. Like the cat, like, because that's what I'm saying. Like she was the same. Everything is still there. That was there, right? And she's married now, so she got an after Diddy life there too, whatever, right? So I'm like, all that fuzzy stuff in the middle is just.
So
It's
rape
just
No,
victims
y'all
don't go
missing the
on to
point,
live
man.
healthy, happy
Consistent.
lives and relationships?
Y'all
That's what you're
miss.
saying?
Y'all are
No, I'm
no.
saying
Y'all are
you can.
missing
If
the
you're a
point.
porn star, we're still gonna watch the video.
They still have relationships outside of their porn, which is their career,
Yes, and we don't
right?
watch that.
And they have real relationships in houses and homes that don't include porn. That
Y'all
girl
are
was a
missing the
girl regardless.
point.
She had other partners. Okay,
Y'all are missing the point.
go ahead.
It's COE. It's content, y'all. Like this is the world that we live in. Do something about it or just
It's
deal with it. But we
BNS.
all participate
Mhm.
in the shit. And we want to be fuzz
Mhm.
about the lines that we want to draw.
Mhm.
Stop playing. Who
Well,
want to be, speaking of being fuzzy, you wanted to say something else to them?
yeah, actually, I was ready to say that brought it to another point where you said earlier about having a deeper conversation in regards to where's the line with media, right? Because one of the conversations that we didn't talk about was the whole fact that they leaked the Jane Doe identity, right? What's the point of being a Jane Doe or a John Doe if your identity is leaked through the media? And so where is that line? Are there ethics involved, or should there used to be ethics in media? And so is this something that we need to have a conversation about? And but
No.
noting that we're also doing a podcast at this time, talking about some of the same topics too, it becomes like, well, where's that line? What should and shouldn't be said? And at the end of the day, I'm just going to say that Nick has a great point that it's all content, and everybody is looking for that. You know how we have that 24 hours news cycle now, where before we didn't have, and so news was news and it was hard hitting, but then we became this 24-hour news cycle, so they always have to come up with new content, new hard hitting, new exciting, salacious type of information and so forth. And so that's the last thing I wanted to add on that.
1000%. That's why I said there's not much that we can do about it beyond just as individual consumers, right? Because we can choose to go to the reputable sources, but people get their news from the shade room. People get their news from the internet. right? Or from podcasts. So you can't really stop that, I think, in any credible way, especially because people are ignorant to even journalistic standards, for example, right? So yes, maybe the ABC won't tell you who the person's name was, but Sasha's and them blog will, right? Because they want clicks and views. That's how you monetize it. So I just kind of feel like the landscape of media and where people get their information from has long since, changed. And so now I get it. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is.